Good morning and welcome back to another episode. My name is Jenny Phillips. I am a board certified health and wellness coach here to help you understand yourself better, understand how to reach your goals better, and create a life that you're really stoked for. Y'all, I don't know about you, but everything feels so urgent nowadays. I tell my clients a lot, like we live in an age of urgency where news is instantaneous. Texting and communicating with people is instantaneous. It's almost like quite exhausting, to be honest. I'm not a great texter. I don't like talking to people like bam, 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 bam. I like having space for my phone. And so it's hard in this world of like, say yes right now, make a decision right now, pick up your phone right now, respond to me right now, work right now. It's really hard to find a moment for yourself. Let's be honest. Like the to-do lists are never ending, especially you throw kids into the mix, never ending. It's hard. It's really hard. And then you throw in the whole concept of, well, how do I make time for myself? Like, where do I care for myself? Where do I look after for myself? Oftentimes, I would say for 98% of the population, the self-care aspect, the health, the looking after ourselves aspect, for whatever reason, in all of our brains, it just kind of, that's the thing that we can throw away. That's the thing that doesn't matter. But is it though? Like, if we're taking care of ourselves, wouldn't it make more sense then that we're able to show up better for those other facets of our life? I tend to think so. And so then how do we do that? How do we make time for ourselves when we have a never-ending to-do list? One thing that I talk a lot about with my clients is this idea of prioritizing. And it's not some novel idea, but it is really hard in practice. And the reality of it is Karen Martin from the Outstanding Organization has a quote that says, if you prioritize everything, then nothing is a priority, or something along those lines. And I cannot agree more. And it's with everything feeling so important and so urgent these days, we're not going to accomplish any of it in a good way, at least. And then we're going to be exhausted by the end of it all. And so learning how to prioritize and be really truthful with what our priorities are is a really important part of the process. Two key points to remember as you're starting to think about your priorities is that one, we all have priorities, whether we're consciously choosing them or not. Just take a look at your calendar. How do your weeks fill up? How do your days fill up? That right there will show you exactly how you prioritize your life and what's important to you. Second point, I kind of just said it with Karen's quote of, not everything can be a priority, and learning to be okay with that is a really important skill to have. To help with that, I call it just a priority list. It's 3 different sections broken down, and we'll go over each one. But in your priority list, this is something you can do daily. I recommend daily. Some people like to do it weekly and kind of have a bigger, if you're going to do it weekly, create more spaces for things. But I think daily is best. I think it helps people really focus in on what's going on for the day, what's the must do, and then how do I make space for the other things. So step 1 in your priority list is that you write down one single priority. This is your non-negotiable task for the day that is of utmost importance. So that way, if you accomplish it at the end of the day, that was your one thing. You can go to bed satisfied. You did the thing that needed to get done that day. Number 2, you're gonna write out then 2 to 3 what I call nice to-dos. These are things that are coming up on important, can't really push off anymore, but still has another day or 2 left to wait if you don't get around to them for whatever reason. Again, they are the nice things to do. They make the day feel good. 2 to 3 of those. Below that, you're then gonna write out 2 to 3 bonus tasks. These are the cherry on top of your day. These are things that can for sure wait several days or not that urgent. And these are the things where if you feel like you have the time and you have the energy and you're on a roll and you want to, by all means, go for it. If you're going through your list and you fill out the nice to-dos and you're kind of pausing and like, well, what are my bonus tasks for the day? Do I have to do anything else? Don't fill them in. Don't give yourself more work just to fill in the blanks. It's not worth it. It's not the point either. In theory, so let's do a quick recap. So your single priority for the day, your one non-negotiable must do, can go to bed satisfied if you do it. Two to three nice to do tasks for the day. These are things that have some flexibility to them, not quite as urgent, but kind of getting there. Probably should do it sooner rather than later. And then the third bullet point is going to be 2 to 3 bonus tasks for the day. Again, that's your cherry on top. That's your bonus if you have the time and energy and you're feeling really good. In theory, super easy to write things down on a list and put them on a piece of paper or in your phone, whatever works better for you. What's the hard part though is actually putting it into practice, because what putting it into practice means is that you're saying no to other things that do not fall in this list. And that's hard for a lot of people. That's hard for most people. I'm a recovering people pleaser, and saying no to people is, I don't think I ever had that word in my vocabulary for a very long time. And being able to say no to people is such an important skill to have. And maybe it's not no either. Something to consider is that maybe it's not a no. Maybe it's just you know what, I'd love to help, but I can't right now. Maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks, whatever it is. But there are 3 responses: a yes, a no, and a not right now. It's important to be able to know, and that's why priorities, knowing your priorities can be really helpful. It's important because then you can kind of categorize things for yourself. A lot of times, back to the saying no thing, a lot of times people have a really hard time saying no because they're afraid of what the other person will think or how the other person will respond. And I just want to tell you, you are not responsible for how people or for other people's emotions and for how people respond to you. That's their job. That is on them, and that is their responsibility. And if that's a topic that you're interested in, you should probably go see a therapist, because that's something that I've been working on. But again, this list is really easy in practice, or in theory. It's really hard in practice. So give yourself some time, and please know, like, things come up in life that we have to get done. And so the list is not necessarily your hard and fast, I gotta live by my list now. Again, this is really about getting into the practice of what's important to me and am I living my life accordingly? Because when we're living our life to the things that are truly valuable to us, I kind of think that's when we feel like we have the space to make room for the self-care, to make room for taking care of ourselves. And some people might say, well, why not just put it on your priority list? And I'm going to ask this question of, how many times have you put working out on your priority list or on your list of to-dos and it didn't get done because it was something that was other things were more important? I know I have. And I think when we can prioritize our list and prioritize our life according to those things that really matter to us, it gives us kind of this internal acceptance of, I've done the things that are important, so I do have time left over to take care of myself. I do have time to go to the gym today because I did that load of laundry that was my non-negotiable, so I can go take care of that. Okay, awesome. And that's how I like to approach it. So I do caution against putting working out or meal prepping on the list. Those are 2 very general, broad examples, but working out specifically, because again, how many times have you put that on a to-do list and you haven't done it? This is kind of a priority list to help you make more space in your life for the things that take out the things that don't matter and make space for the things that do really matter for you. So just something to consider as you are writing that. Maybe play around with that experiment. Maybe you do put working out on there if that is important to you, and see how it is. I know a lot of people really love that feeling of checking a box and checking off the list. But at the end of the day, this is for you. There's no right or wrong thing to put down on the list. It's really being honest and truthful with yourself about what is important for your life and learning to live accordingly. And that's the hardest part. But I know you can do it. Let me know if you give it a go. Let me know how you feel. Let me know if you notice anything different throughout your days. And if you have any questions about the list in general or coaching in general, I am more than happy to help. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful day. Cheers.